Hello, thanks for tuning in. My name is Devin DeLeon. I am a photographer based in Texas, originally from San Antonio. Now I'm in Austin, but I still go back and forth. So I've had a few people ask what camera I use for photography, so I thought I'd make a video. I am shooting with the Leica SL2. Obviously they are not paying me for this, but I just wanted to make a video and share my thoughts. So here we go. SL2 for me is perfect, although it does have its cons, and I will get to those. But as far as from a pure photography standpoint, I love the colors of this camera. I love the user interface on this camera is the best I've ever used. Even just right here, you just play, function, and menu. It's extremely streamlined. Like, there's nothing you can't do with this camera. And honestly, like in comparison to, I'm shooting this on the Lumix, going in there and dialing in the settings, it was daunting because, and I came from Sony, but even still, like, I don't understand why they make it so complicated. And I bet to folks who are like really dialed in with like cameras and settings and whatnot, like it probably makes sense to them, but I kind of am not. So anyways, menus aside, I think the reason to shoot a Leica SL2 is for the glass. I have two lenses for the SL2. I have the 35mm Apo, which is probably what I use 90% of the time, like with this camera. Just because 35 is my favorite focal length when I shoot with the SL2, and really just in any camera system. And I have the 75mm, so kind of a nice balance, you know. This is definitely more portrait-oriented, headshots, which I'll show, and the 35 is really your do-it-all. I use it for portraits as well, I use it for food, I use it for anything and everything. And you know, somebody else probably made a better video about this, but what I do know about the lenses is that even though they're f2, it's made like a cinema lens. And so even though it's an f2, it gives the look of an f1.4 lens. And that kind of is what sold me on these lenses. And the colors and the sharpness, honestly too sharp at times, so you have to dial it back, or I do at least. Some people love that ultra sharp look, I don't. And so those are the great things about the SL2. In my opinion, the perfect photography camera. I would say the biggest con with these cameras, aside from price, is weight. This camera, I looked it up, I think it's over 900 grams, so it's really heavy, you know. And not only that, these lenses are as heavy as the camera, if not, you know, heavier. In fact, I brought the 75 with me. I did a little photo walk the other day, and I just had this in my bag, and I had a smaller camera with me that I was shooting with, and my back really hurt that day. Or that night. And so they do make, you know, people are making smaller cameras that are just as great. You know, 10 years ago maybe you couldn't say that, but I think what Fuji's doing with their lineup, you know, like the X Pros and the XT, you know, 4 and 5 I think they're at now. Something to consider, like, do you really want to carry this much weight with you? There's a guy I know in New York, his name's Jim, at Trickness on Instagram. I know he carries the SL2 with the 75 around New York, like, all day. So, you know, maybe it's just me. If anything, I just gotta lift more. All that being said, I still think it's a fantastic camera system. And I think like right now is an amazing time to get the SL2, because I remember when I wanted to get this camera like 3 years ago, I couldn't afford it. And it was, you know, absurdly expensive. I think it was like 5,000, maybe 6. You know, and that was brand new and used, like probably brand new 6 and used for around 5. But then, you know, a funny and a great thing happened. They released the new version, the SL3 and the SL3S. And so then these cameras became like super cheap. Well, you know, cheap for a full frame camera and for a Leica. Like now you can get them used for $2,400, right around there. I was looking this morning. And for a camera that delivers, in my opinion, like medium format like quality, that's kind of a steal. I guess this would probably be the biggest con with working with like an SL2 and a Leica, is that the repair shop takes forever to get your camera back. I've heard of people sending a lens and waiting like a year to a year and a half. Maybe if you can afford it, you can buy it, put it on the credit card, and then when you get the other one back from the shop, sell it. You know, because I've gotten into bad habits of buying and selling and buying and selling, and It's too much. And maybe I'll make a video about that, you know, gas as they call it. But thanks for watching. This was my review on the Leica SL2. Please feel free to message me here, message me at my email, devindelionphoto@gmail.com, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.